preempt. I want to rescind something I said in the last episode. I was perhaps too harsh on the last Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Because this one was bad.
Yeah. Oh, holy. Are you okay?
Was that tight or what? Was that tight, guys? Did that look tight to you?
I think that I like that nothing's real or everything's real. And I think you put it really nicely, Joe.
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it better.
Yeah, a little scary, but...
Holy.
Whoa!
Holy.
The whole thing.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
He's going all the way. That's like soft. Oh, it's gross. Okay. I don't
Show
care.
the camera.
Yo, end the episode there, man. That's fucking gross, dude.
That's sick. I didn't know he was on... He was like an SNL guy.
Welcome to 3 Cents, guys.
Wait, you're recording?
Yeah, I recorded that whole thing.
Why? We can't show any of that.
I was just recording as soon as I sat down, and you guys just kept watching the video, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Did you watch it with us?
No, it was just on my phone.
Okay.
Oh,
Were we
so-
looking at reels?
Yeah.
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
Real shit.
I was
Yeah.
doing real shit. Exactly.
That's vibes.
Yeah.
I didn't even check the frame. Is this good?
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry, we were just we're watching the Mike O'Brien SNL short story of Jay-Z.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, if you haven't,
Jay-Z or Michael O'Brien?
Mike O'Brien.
Mike O'Brien is a funny guy. He plays
Remember from
he
the
had
piss stains.
the piss dance.
Oh no, I think you should leave. Remember Calico Cut?
Oh, true. Yeah, yeah. Because him and Tim Robinson wrote together on SNL. I believe.
Snell.
Yeah.
Snell,
On
yeah.
Snell.
Saturday Night Live for those who don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were tasked with watching a movie last week, and we watched it, didn't we, guys?
Yeah, man. Of course.
No, I didn't.
We were gonna watch after discussing last week the
I didn't
Rise of the
watch that.
Silver Surfer. We decided we were gonna watch the 2015 Fantastic Four.
We're becoming a Fantastic Four podcast.
Yeah, this is the third week in a row that we're just gonna talk about
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
So I just assumed it was like a bit, and then I realized maybe it's not a bit, and then I thought maybe is it funny if I don't watch it? But then now it's
Said the laziest man ever. Is it funny if I don't do the work?
Yeah, good bit. The thing that we're
I-
gonna talk about.
well, I did rewatch the episode, and I was like, it was like a throwaway. Like someone said, should we do that next week? Haha, and then David started talking. So I was like, all right.
Fucking David. It's
So
always
I was
David.
like, I just assumed it wasn't.
Blame it on the guest, man.
You guys can at least explain to me what happens in the film.
Yeah. Well, what do you think happens, man?
Dr. Doom comes. He's probably like doesn't even resemble.
He
Dr.
really
Doom.
wants to come.
Okay.
It's kind of, that's got a
Whoa.
big character trait of his in the
Yeah,
movie.
Okay. Is he like a rate?
He's like a gooner. He's like textbook incel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At the
Okay.
start, but then he becomes kind of cool, and he drinks with the underage guys.
That
Ye-
is pretty cool.
Are they underage? Oh, 21, I forget.
They go to their site. So
Can I just preempt? I want to rescind something I said in the last episode.
Mm.
I was perhaps too harsh on the last Fantastic Four movie
yeah,
because this one was bad.
Yeah.
The last one was like, I didn't
Camp.
like it, but now it has endearing qualities.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
This one, on the other
This one,
hand,
yeah.
just don't bother.
Yeah, if you want some backstory about the director when he made the movie, is
This is for context. This is the one with Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. That's all I
Hey,
remember.
Mara.
maybe I don't know what the actors' names are.
Okay.
Yeah, but when the guy was gonna make this film, the studio was like, we need to keep the Fantastic Four rights, so we have to make another movie. That's why we're making a movie. And the guy was like, yeah, but I watched the Avengers, which had come out at that time, and he was like, I hated it. I hated the Avengers so much that I'm gonna make a movie that's not fun and exciting.
Bit of a trend.
He said, I specifically want to make a gritty, real sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
And
It
that's
felt very much like someone's trying to make Fantastic Four like this really serious, really intense drama. Just like, what?
and that's part of
Silly.
why the final stages of the movie feel so odd and out of place, because he was like, I don't want any action sequences. And the studio was like, all right, we're gonna make action sequences because it's a superhero movie. So they just reshot all his stuff, and he didn't get a say on the cut.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was poo. It was boring. I have a stream of consciousness notes that I was writing down while I was watching it that I kind of want to just quickly read out. There's a few spoilers in here, but who cares?
That's if you care about spoilers for the 2015 Fantastic Four movie,
Unsubscribe.
I mean, or you could go watch the movie if you care about
If you
it
care
enough,
that much.
but you haven't watched the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you care?
Anyway, my stream of consciousness was they were kind of framed as in my head, these are like, if I was active on Twitter, this is what I'd be tweeting while watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one I wrote was, bro made a teleporter out of N64s.
Nice.
Oh, we should, before you go into that, I'm sorry, Jock.
No, this is okay.
I just want to say, if you haven't seen it, this is a take on the Fantastic Four that really approaches them when they're kids.
It's an
They're
origin story.
Yeah, but they're like, instead of being adults already, they're like still growing up. I think Miles Teller is in his 12th grade. He's still at a science fair. So it's a very
Well,
young...
this bit before was
version.
like their kids. They're
Yeah,
in
what
like
you're
grade
talking
7 or whatever.
Yeah.
And him and Ben Grimm are like become buddies because Reed Richards is trying to fucking steal shit from Ben's scrapyard.
Yeah.
And then Ben Grimm rocks up and he's like, hey, you can't steal my stuff. And then he's like, do you want to come build a teleporter with me? And
He's like,
then
hell yeah.
Ben Grimm said, fucking hell yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
And then they build a teleporter out of N64 consoles
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, back to your
because
thing.
nostalgia, I
I
guess.
just want to preface that they're very young in this movie compared
Yeah.
to the other ones.
And then they age up slightly, and now Miles Teller and Ben Grimm are best buddies, and they've been working on this teleporter for years.
Yeah.
And they're at a science show, and they activate the teleporter, and it like blows up a basketball rim because it's too powerful or some shit. You can see how much I care about this movie. Anyway, so
So
I wrote-
should I wait till after you finish going through the whole movie, or should I commentate on the bits that you're up to?
you can comment. I was about to say I think what I'm about to say is what you're about to say. My next line is, why are the scientists looking for solutions for interdimensional travel at a fucking school science show?
Yeah.
Surely there is a better medium to search for geniuses.
They show up at the science show, and they're
Jamie
just...
Bell's the thing, by the way.
There you go. They show up at the science show, John,
Yeah.
and it's just like kids at a school. And they walk up and they're like, hey, look, we're from a government facility that's trying to engineer a teleportation
Yeah.
Or from like
To
a
a-
super smart
to
university
a
thing.
multi-dimensional teleportation. We
Yep.
just here at this science fair.
And you've solved it.
And also, here's a sample that I've kept in my coat pocket. And she's like,
Whoa.
it's exactly the same.
It's from a different dimension.
Why are you carrying that with you? I feel like that's like, you should keep that
Insane.
under wraps in the, in the...
Yeah, so then
facility.
out of that abysmal introduction, Reed gets, I don't know, what is it called? Enlisted or
recruited
or
sponsorship.
sponsorship to go to this like prestigious nerd university.
What's it called when you get
I'm trying to
paid?
scholarship.
scholarship?
And then
that's
he
it.
goes and Sue Storm's father, Dr. Storm, I guess.
Yep.
Franklin.
what?
Franklin Storm.
That's right. He's running this show. And Reed is like Miles Teller,
Thunder.
quintessential like nerd. And there's a moment in the library which kind of irked me, where he just goes up to Sue Storm and just starts talking to her. And this is my note of that moment. Ain't no way Reed is a nerd with that much game. He shouldn't simply be able to go up to Sue at the library. He shouldn't be able to do that. If he's really, truly a nerd,
Yeah.
he's not going up and just talking to her out of nowhere. And then Sue proceeds to give possibly the worst description of music I've ever heard in my life.
This made me hate. I was like, this. If I walked up to a girl and she said this, I would like leave.
He walks up and he's like, "Oh, do you like music?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's my." No, he says, "Is music your thing?"
yeah.
I was like, "I'm just fucking listening to
Yeah.
music."
Smooth as
but-
hell.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
then she's like, instead of saying yes or no, she goes, "Oh, I just like patterns." And you go, "Okay, sorry, hold up."
yeah.
And then she's like, "Music is just like, it's such a beautiful arrangement of instruments. It's patterns. It's like knowing about patterns and breaking patterns."
Yeah.
And then it's like, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
wow.
He's like, you like music, and she's like, no, I just like pattern recognition. Obviously. Why would you even ask if I like music?
I would love to re-edit that scene, and then like it cuts to her perspective, and she's listening to like fucking Crazy Frog,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I just love patterns."
Or it's like bing, 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 bing. It's like, yeah, that's the pattern I like.
Yeah.
Oh, it pissed me off so much. Anyway, and then
They were just stimming, bro.
yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, they
Yeah,
were
I
the
guess
side
stimming.
nerds just
Yeah.
chilling.
and then I just wrote the leader cameo because the actor who
The guy with
plays
the
the
big forehead?
leader
Oh.
is in the movie as like the government guy.
Oh,
He plays the leader in
from
The Incredible
Captain
Hulk and in
America.
Captain America.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah.
It was
Because
also
he
the
has such
guy
a
from
small
Holes.
forehead in this one.
You know,
True.
he was actually supposed to go on into the sequel to this movie, which didn't happen.
Mm.
And he
Holes.
was going to play, Holes. What?
He's in Holes as
He's
well
in
with
Holes.
Shia
Okay.
LaBeouf.
He was supposed to play Mole Man a character from the comics.
That works.
Yeah,
Like
apparently.
from The Incredibles.
Yeah,
Like
from
G-Force?
The Incredibles.
Like, gee, what?
True, banger.
Oh yeah, sorry.
True.
You're right. Then there's we're introduced to Victor Von Doom because he needs to be recruited because they need one more person to figure out how to build this interdimensional teleporter.
Yeah.
They need one more person. So they're going to get Victor Von Doom.
Right.
The goat.
And they go to his
With
house.
a name like that, you should know this guy's gonna be evil.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of that, there's a line further on that maybe I wrote here. X line made me want to kill myself.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Um,
Let's hear it.
Stay tuned for that.
So Victor Von Doom's introduction, Franklin Storm goes to his house and is like, "We need you, Victor." And Victor is set up at what can only be described as like a Guna battle station. He's on his chair, like leant back like this, 6 monitors on his
Whoa.
screen. He's automatically made these things that shut his shutters.
Yeah.
He is just textbook like incel Guna.
Right.
He's like, don't want to see the light. I'm not moving. Women hate me.
Wow.
He's an incel. That's just
That's
his
awesome.
only character trait throughout the whole movie until he like
So they did it.
gets angry at Reed.
So they did it before like Joker did it.
Yeah.
So that was he was the OG.
He's OG Guna
incel.
incel.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sure
awesome.
there's been other Guna incels in history, but he is
I was thinking
one
more
of.
like no superhero. Like is that the first superhero Guna like incel villain?
I don't
Uh,
know.
Goblin.
I
Who's
guess.
got a bit of a. I think Green Goblin a bit.
Oh, what about Jamie Foxx in The Amazing Spider-Man?
He is a bit of a,
True.
but he's not. He's like a little.
Is he a
he's
sweet
just a
nerd?
little twink
Yeah.
that goes
True.
undergoes
true.
twink death.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He does
Oh
undergo.
man,
twink
I
death,
didn't
yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
His teeth re-emerging
Yeah.
through electricity is pure twink death.
his tooth gap being fixed. And then so Victor Von Doom gets recruited, and it's alluded to that him and Sue Storm, like, there's been a romantic tension throughout their past. Like,
Yeah.
Very softly alluded to.
yeah.
Like he's like Reed's talking to her,
And
he's
he
like,
just stares.
He's like, "Hey man, don't talk to her."
Wow.
You got to focus on your work. Anyway, so he comes in, and then Sue Storm, they're talking about why'd you get Victor on board, blah blah blah. Same shit as the last one, really. Exact same plot. Build
Yeah.
machine. Victor Von Doom gets hired. Victor Von Doom, whatever.
It's a
Sue
bad-
Storm is like building this machine, and Victor Von Doom's here, and Sue Storm's like, "What? Oh, this is it. Sorry, my brain is racked, and I remembered the line."
Mm.
They're talking about the potential for this interdimensional travel.
Yeah.
They're like, this could be unlimited energy. This could be all this stuff. And then Victor goes, it could also mean the end of our world. Like, he's got a really pessimistic outlook.
Right.
And then
Crazy.
Sue Storm goes like, Dr. Doom over here.
No.
My God.
Then they all look
Oh,
directly
wow.
into the
Yeah.
camera.
Wow.
Laugh track.
I was like, ha ha ha.
The only time Doctor Doom is used, the
Yep.
term Doctor Doom,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Also, I don't know if this is in that bit, but there's a little bit of when we're talking about Miles Teller risen up the lady.
Yeah.
So obviously, Johnny Storm, her brother, and her father, not Forrest, what's his name?
Franklin.
Franklin.
Thunder.
Anyway, Franklin.
Thunderstorm's a crazy name.
Thunderstorm is good. Franklin, they're both black, right?
Yeah.
Sue Storm is not. There's only one line where they talk about this where he's like, Miles Teller is like, "So you're adopted?"
Yeah.
And
Wait, oh my God. I
yeah,
remember this.
and she's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I can relate to that," and she goes,
Oh, really?
"What, are you adopted?" And he goes, "Nah, I just,
He's like,
That's
no.
I just don't like my parents."
No, I had a stepdad and I don't like my parents.
Wow.
And then she doesn't go, sorry, hold
Big
up,
difference.
you cannot relate to me. She goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, he's just like, "Oh yeah, I can relate to being adopted. Yeah, me too."
That's
no, you
sweet.
can't.
Yeah.
You
have
just
no idea.
cannot.
No idea what she's going on. And
Yeah,
they don't
well,
really know.
this was my
mention
next
that.
one.
Never mention again.
Reed Richards, in quotes, I know what being adopted is like. I wish I was, is a
Yeah.
fucking
Wow.
crazy
To say
line.
to someone,
Yeah.
To say to someone that's adopted, which is obviously like not a fun thing to go through.
Yeah.
And to be like, oh God, I hate my functioning family so much. I wish I was
Yeah.
adopted. I can relate to you. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't. You've got it infinitely better than me. You cannot relate to what it's like.
"Oh,
to
I'm
be
in a
me.
middle class family that's like cares for me."
I've got a middle class family that lets me build my fucking nuke bombs and black hole
Yeah,
machines in the
amazing.
shed. Oh, in my 2-story American family home. I've got it so rough.
Yeah. I'm Miles Teller.
Then
It's like no. Also, about this film, Kate Mara's character, Sue Storm, whatever,
yeah.
was supposed to be a black actress, right? But then there was,
Yes.
there was controversy.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
Oh no, the guy was scared of backlash, so he was like, "I'll just make Michael B. Jordan black, and then she can be adopted." Yeah.
So he was fighting for a
Crazy.
black actress for Sue
I
Storm.
would have.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that. Really.
And the
Yeah.
studio said no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so on
Was it the studio or was he scared?
No, the studio.
Okay.
So on set, he would repeatedly tell Kate Mara that he didn't want her. She wasn't the Sue Storm he wanted.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy's diabolical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's awful apparently.
What a horrendous human. So they fix the portal, and then they get really drunk, and they go, "We're gonna use it. Like the government has come along and said, oh, we're gonna send astronauts from NASA." And these children who have built a fucking interdimensional time travel machine go, "No, we want to do it.
Yeah.
We want to be the ones to travel to an unknown alien interdimensional world and risk our lives because we built it."
Yeah.
So Reed Richards goes, "I'm not leaving without Ben Grimm."
Hell yeah.
Because
cool.
Ben's not part of the science team.
Yeah, but
he's
just
too
that
dumb.
bro. He's a bro.
He's too
Okay.
dumb. So they get Ben Grimm back, and Ben Grimm comes and is like, "Sure, I guess I'm gonna do interdimensional travel
He's
in a
like- it's
machine
like-
built
Yeah.
by 17-year-olds."
He's like, it's like 2 in the morning.
That's ride or die.
Yeah.
It's 2 in the morning. They previously mentioned it's like a 45-minute train
Train ride,
ride
yeah.
to get to where he is. So between the phone call of him being like, "Oh, I just woke up," there's a 45-minute him sitting on the train.
Having
before he
moment to
gets
consider
there.
this, like, am I really gonna do this? I haven't seen this guy in like months, and I'm gonna go and interdimensional travel with him and a guy named Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, this random guy. You think you bring that up?
Who's
if you're on
meant
the
to
train.
be who's meant to be from Latvia, just has an American accent.
Hell yeah.
And also, like, oh, God. There's bits where Reed's like, "Oh, where's your accent gone?" And they just go, "I don't know." It's like, what the fuck?
That's good.
You think if you're on the train 3 in the morning, whatever other nutcases on the train, you think you'd be like, "Hey, I'm about to travel to a different dimension.
Yeah.
I'm on my way."
Yeah,
Bye,
how would
buddy."
the train guy react? In Australia, he's like, shut up, mate. you got
I'm
these
from a different
sickies."
dimension. I'm actually from a different dimension. I got
Um,
these little pills. They take you to a different dimension.
Yeah, so then they travel, and Victor Von Doom gets like he's like Drake smelling a pie in a window and starts hovering towards this like green energy mass.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my god, look at this shit!" And he goes towards it, and he just touches it because he's like an idiot, I guess.
Right.
He leans over and he touches it, and it like the world starts crumbling. The energy goes crazy. They're trying to escape. They have to climb up this cliff. As they're climbing up, Victor falls down. They're like, "No, Victor!" He
Yeah.
falls into
He's
this like
dead.
acid pit. He's dead.
Right.
Then they go to keep leaving. They get in the thing and they get in the machine to travel out. And as the machine's they're trying to get it to operate, the door opens on Ben Grimm's pod, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh fuck!" Trying to close it. Bunch of rocks flood in. It gets filled with rocks.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's a one shot of Michael B. Jordan's machine
On
just
fire.
inexplicably
Catching on
catching
fire?
fire.
Yeah.
Just inexplicably like catching on fire. And then you cut to Reed Richards and he's going,
I'm stretchy.
no. Nothing happens to Reed. They couldn't describe the stretch.
No, I think
The pod is like.
Oh, the stretch was later.
the stretch is like after they get
Yeah.
back.
So then it
Okay.
teleports. It does this massive explosion, and Sue is in the lab, gets exploded, and bounces against a wall, and like you see her like flicker into invisibility. Okay, like big granted, this is like an hour 20 into the movie.
I was going to say, it may sound like Jock's just describing for a long time the start of the movie.
But this is the whole movie.
We're 75% of the way through.
This
the
is
movie.
like going into the third act.
Wow. So it's not even a okay.
Well, you wouldn't believe it because, like, wait till
Because
this.
fucking
Okay.
nothing has happened. Wait, what?
Wait till finish what.
Okay,
you
yeah.
said.
So then they're all back, and Reed is like stuck under this beam back because this beam fell down when it exploded. His leg's stuck, and he hears Ben under this pile of rubble going like, "Reed, get me out, Reed, Reed."
Yeah.
So Reed starts like crawling. He's like, "I'm stuck," but then he can crawl. This is weird. He's crawling. He's getting closer to Ben. Then he looks back, and his legs are stretched
Wow.
all the way back. They were stuck under these rocks, and they're stretched like 100 meters back for
He's
the whole
stretchy.
distance he
Wow. Wow.
crawled. And then, they like pass out.
Yeah. They wake up and they're in
They
government.
wake up and they're being
Containment.
tested on by
Fuck.
government.
And Area 57, I thought that was cute.
Area
Not Area
57?
51. There's 6 more we don't know about.
And Reed is like maybe the most disgusting looking creature I've ever seen, lying on this like.
Is he naked?
He's almost
Yeah.
naked.
Wow.
He's
They
got
got a
he's
sheet
got
on
like
him.
he's
They
got like
got-
sheet over his
Yeah.
balls.
We're in a hospital.
But he's got
Just his balls.
yeah.
But they don't really
He's
stretch
got a really
out.
stretched penis hanging off.
They got him strapped, his long arm, long
Yeah,
leg, and then one down the middle.
They've like crucified him on this chair,
Yeah.
and he's like coming to, and it like cuts between all the like different people, and Michael B. Jordan is like on fire on this chair, like writhing, and it cuts to Sue, and she's like passed out, but fading in and out of like being seen. It cuts to Ben Grimm, who's just rocks.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to Reed, and he's hearing Ben through the like vents, and he's trying to get out.
Yeah.
And this is maybe the most disgusting visual I've ever seen. They try and like get real gritty and real like, this is what it would look like if Reed Richards, like all his bones were moving and his shit was changing size.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about last episode about how in the Fantastic Four 2 Rise of the Silver Surfer, they just try to avoid showing skin tone.
Yeah.
Like try to avoid showing stretchy skin.
Yeah.
In this one, he goes, I'm going to show as much stretchy skin as possible. So you've got shirtless Reed, like in this like crucifixion bed, getting like, he's like the, I don't know, have you seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
You know when that like what's her name? Chrissy, the cheerleader
yeah,
girl
yeah,
is
right.
like on the ceiling and all her bones are getting snapped.
That's what's
It's
happening
like
to him.
that, but it's like he's like doing it on purpose, and you see him grimacing. He's like snapping his wrist and like.
What the fuck, man? Why is this
Like,
a movie? Why is this
stretch-
a movie?
It was so gross. It was so yucky.
But anyway, maybe we should keep speeding through. We don't want to spend the whole podcast. So then Reed crawls through the vents because he can squeeze through the vents because it's stretchy.
Stretchy.
Yeah.
So he crawls through the vents and sees Ben. And it's like, man, Ben's all fucked up. We're all fucked up. What do we do?
Mm.
Yeah.
So obviously he
Runs away.
runs away. He breaks out and runs away.
Okay.
And then there's a 1 year time skip.
Is it 1 year? I thought it was
It's-
like 5 years
It
or something
feels
crazy.
like a longer time, but they 1 year time skip and they jump back into like, okay, so in that year, everyone knows how to use their powers now.
Oh, nice.
They
Yeah.
figured it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan now has a suit that like he can turn the fire on and off. So it's not
Okay.
his power. The idea is now he's constantly on power, and he like goes like it's Omnitrix. He goes
Yeah.
beep boop 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 boop, and then he like
Ben
it's
is-
awesome. It's awesome. They spent 2/3 of the movie not like just powerless.
yeah.
And they get their powers and they're like, all right, time skip. They know how to use
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Ben
exactly.
is enlisted in the army. He has like a kill count. He's out in like
He's like a
the-
super soldier,
They have
he's like
shots of him on like
Iraq.
war-torn,
like
yeah,
ripping
wow.
tanks apart and shit.
yeah. Which
Oh my
apparently
God.
the director wanted to do a
Awesome.
lot more of that.
Sounds like this guy sounds fucked up.
So he
yeah.
wanted to do a bunch of like Ben in war, and they
This
they
guy
cut
sucks, man.
all
Who
of
is
the
this guy?
they cut all the footage. The only footage of that you see is
It's, like, on
on a
TV,
projector in a
yeah.
boardroom
Yeah.
when they're exposition explaining how everyone knows how to use their powers now.
It's crazy.
This guy's a loser, man.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Maybe I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan, but and I'm not even a massive Marvel fan anymore. I used to be a bit bigger, but I like this new direction they're going. I think
Like campy.
yeah, for me, Fantastic Four suits like exactly what they're doing, like the 1950s, 60s aesthetic.
Yeah.
They're all sitting around. It's like more like Jetsons.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
sitting around a
yeah.
table. They're eating cereal.
Yeah, Jetsons is a good
He's like,
comparison.
what's his name? Reed Richards is like with his long arm getting toast out the toaster. That's Fantastic Four to me.
Not PTSD-ridden man
Yeah.
of rocks.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what is insane is that we cut to a year later and Reed is in like the Mexican border or something.
Yeah, like Guatemala or something.
Yeah,
Right.
so and it opens. We don't see Reed. We see these two people speaking a different
They're
language.
bartering.
Yeah, this I'm not sure exactly what their descent is, but there's some sort of like Spanish Mexican descent,
Yeah.
and they're bartering in another language. And he gets the part. He goes back in his car, and then morphs his face. Reed used his stretchy powers to make
change his
his face
face.
look like he was Mexican.
Because he's on the run. He's on the run.
Who was the,
So-
who was the model? Who was the?
It's just a random guy.
Yeah, and so apparently those bits they like so when they were doing reshoots after they made the movie, the Miles Teller was busy doing something else. So they were like, we'll just put this guy in. This like other guy.
That's great.
That's kind of awesome.
And then yeah, he just like stretches his face from being a Mexican guy.
Well, I
That's funny.
so there's
Crazy.
a whole there's a whole storyline of
Facial hair
Reed.
changes stuff?
Yeah,
He's just
there's
changed
a whole
his
storyline of like Reed's on the run and trying to build a
face.
teleporter.
Storyline.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
trying to build a
Couple
teleporter
sentences.
to go back into the dimension to figure out how to cure Ben Grimm. His whole
Right.
plan has been to cure Ben Grimm because he feels
Okay.
guilty.
Because yeah, right.
Because he's like, all right, the other three of us, our powers are kind of cool. Yours,
Yeah,
yours is disgusting.
Yours is
Yeah.
gross and disgusting.
Okay, that's cool.
And he's meant to be like the smartest man alive.
Yeah,
He's pretty much Reed Richards' whole shtick.
yep. John
So
Krasinski.
he has gone back, or he's like gone out into the middle of nowhere, and he's like using fake faces. He's like using a bunch of like IP wreckers so he can like be anywhere all the time. So there's no trace of him.
Yep.
And then the government's like, let's get this Sue Storm pattern loving, stimming
Freak.
woman freak, and let's get her in front of the computer, and she'll figure out a pattern.
Okay.
Instead of figuring out a pattern, she just finds a code name Reed used, which is just his favorite book that he mentioned like earlier in the movie when he was talking to Sue.
Yeah.
It's like you'd think the smartest man alive would just use just smash the keyboard.
Yeah.
Why do you need to use I hate when movies do this. When
Yeah.
spy movies are like, oh, I wonder where the genius spy is hiding. His uncle's house in the woods. Or I
Yeah.
wonder what alias the genius spy is using.
Yeah.
It's his dead friend's name.
Yeah.
Use anything.
Yeah, it's like that.
Anything. You've got infinite possibilities of names, infinite possibilities of strings of characters. You just use one that someone knows.
Maybe he wanted his wife to find him.
They weren't dating.
Maybe they weren't dating.
Oh,
They had no.
okay.
They had no romantic interest other than.
no. She's adopted.
So music is your thing. I
Right.
also like being adopted. I wish I was.
Yeah.
No, I don't like music. I like patterns. You don't get it. But maybe he wanted to be found. That's a fair call.
Maybe he wanted to
So
be
the government come
found.
get him and are like, hey, we've built that machine that you're trying to build.
Yeah, we did
And
it.
he's like, why would you think I'd want to come use the machine I've been trying to build? And
And then Ben comes and he tries to beat up Reed. There's a
Okay.
lot of infighting in the Fantastic Four. They're really not
Yeah, I've
friends.
seen the iconic final few minutes of the.
Yeah, they're not really
Yeah.
friends. They keep fighting. And I remember you had mentioned this in the last episode. I'm skipping
Yeah.
a lot ahead because I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine. yeah.
I remember a bit you talked about last episode where you're like, the dynamic between Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm is
Yeah.
very underdeveloped.
Yeah.
And there's one line at the end where they try and establish a relationship of
Banter.
banter. I thought yeah, that's true, but maybe you're exaggerating slightly. Like maybe there was some rapport attempted to be developed throughout the film.
Yeah.
They do not share a line of dialogue
Yeah.
for the entire film
Yeah.
until the end. There's moments where all four of them are together and they don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's like they made an effort to not have
Yeah,
them
associate.
interact.
I
It's
think I was paying
insane.
attention to that as well. There is one bit where when he's like, we're gonna use the machine,
Yeah.
and he's like, let me call my childhood friend, and he shows up and he's like, hey, this is Ben. And Michael B. Jordan goes, so.
It's fucking so dumb.
And then and like
Yeah.
they don't like say like, oh, maybe we should not get this random guy. Maybe we should get like another scientist or something.
Yeah.
They're just like sup, and then they get
Sup.
the machine.
They're all drunk.
Yeah. Also, the first time that so Johnny Storm, he's a bit of a hothead, you know.
Sure.
The first time
He's a drag racer.
he meets Victor Von Doom, he just calls him Adolf. That's the first thing he says.
A
He's
bit
like-
of
Why?
Eastern European hate.
he walks in and he's like, "Oh, Adolf's here."
That's
Well, I think
funny.
there's a bit of like history in like Victor Von Doom had been at this school before and he left
Right.
because he was too smart and arrogant.
Okay.
And whatnot.
Okay.
But no, they brought him back because he'll build a machine.
True.
Fuck, I don't know. And Johnny Storm was brought on because, according to his dad, he can build anything.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Fucking build a personality.
It was crazy. Yeah, they were like, so Johnny Storm crashes his car, and he's
drag
like,
racing.
He's like, "Oh, I can't afford to get my money back," and the dad's like, I'll give you the car back if you work for me."
Mm.
And it's funny because it's like, let's get the smartest guy ever from this school. We'll pluck him out. We'll go get this recluse out of his cave, Von Doom, because he's
my
super
daughter.
smart. My daughter's super smart, and my son crashed his car. We'll throw him in there too.
No, but he can build anything. He
He
build
can,
anything.
yeah,
Did you
true.
see when he was drag racing, he had a Mario fire leaf
I did see
hanging
that.
from his car
That's
rearview
fun.
mirror?
That's
Fire,
fun.
he turned fire.
Anyway, I give this movie.
Wait, we didn't finish. We didn't.
I
finish.
don't
Anyway,
care.
so they go back. So
Yeah.
they go into the dimension.
All right.
And that's when we go, oh, Doom's alive. And he's like, hi, I'm bad. There's 26 minutes left of this movie.
Right.
Right. Doom's like, hi, I'm bad. I'm going to destroy the
The
world.
main villain has been introduced with less than like a sixth of the movie left.
Nice.
He's like, hey, I'm the bad guy. I'm going to destroy the world. They're like,
Yeah.
no, don't do that. There's 12 minutes of him on screen and then they defeat him.
Wow. Nice. That was good.
And then they find this new compound. They go like, the government's like, please, can you guys work together?
Yeah.
And then we'll like, they said, we won't work for you, but give us shit, I
Yeah,
guess.
they're like, give us all of the access to any technology and don't check it on us at all. And they're like, why would we do that?
And then Ben goes, and then they
Threatens
go,
him.
I guess I'll listen to you, big rock man.
That's fun.
It's not like they had the rock man in a cage for a year.
Yeah.
It's not like they know how to contain him.
Yeah, he like worked with them.
Yeah.
Like he
Nice.
worked for them.
Ugh, fuck, I hate it.
What a movie, man.
So yeah, that was the that's the movie. What were you saying, Jock? What do you give it?
I want to see my Letterboxd review actually.
Or you put it on Letterboxd?
I did Letterboxd review it, and I think I gave it a pretty abysmal score. Sorry. Follow my Letterboxd. 1 star, and my review was, I remember more from the TikToks I was watching before I turned this on. Like I was watching, remembered more from the TikToks.
Not
but I
even
guess I
paying
didn't
attention.
because I
Say that
remembered a
again.
lot from the movie, but out of spite.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the movie, John.
Yeah, great.
What do you think? What would you give it?
Yeah, thank God I didn't watch it, man. I'm happy I didn't because I'm a big fan of. I love Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan. Like those are up there for me. As my favorite actors. So
Yeah, they
I'm
don't do
very happy I didn't.
They kind of get. I'm not going to say their performances are bad. They're just not playing characters they should.
And you can't. Yeah, you can't like do much with that.
It's the
horrible.
it's the writer's fault in all essence. Writer, director, like
Yeah.
bad directorial decisions and just poor writing.
So apparently, him and Miles Teller would like get in fights on set.
Miles Teller, the director, or
The
Miles Te-
director, yeah.
Mm.
And Miles Teller was like they would like threaten to like beat each other up
Really.
on set while
Hell
they
yeah.
were shooting.
Dude, this director sounds fucking
Because-
like a dictator.
Because I think Miles Teller did his like little funny satirical bits,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he would like be like, "Cut! No, you're not funny. This is a gritty movie. Don't do anything that's enjoyable or fun."
Oh boy.
Yeah, once again, another movie where they intentionally avoid any sort of enjoyment, any sort of fun,
Some
any sort of
reason.
cheer.
What a weird era that was, because that was the same with like Man of Steel, Batman vs
Yeah.
Superman. It's just a horrible
Yeah.
It's
period
an
of
area
time.
where they're like, let's make superhero movies so boring
Yeah,
and
and
dark
unappealing.
and unappealing and unenjoyable.
Yeah.
I think the problem was the director Josh Trank. He was selected. He came off the movie Chronicle,
Oh yeah.
which he made. If you've heard of Chronicle, which
Yeah.
is a bit of a sci-fi, darker, grittier take on people with superpowers.
Yeah.
And it was like he was the youngest director ever to be #1 or something.
Wow.
And so they were like, "Oh, we'll pick you for that." And he's like, "Well, that worked last time. I'm going to
Just
do that
do
again."
it again.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Please stop.
Please
Don't do
stop.
that." And yeah, this is the movie that they came to, and it was something.
Yeah. Seemed
It
like
was
some-
definitely something. And I'm happy we've finished the Fantastic Four era of these little movie watching reviews.
Until the new one comes out.
Till the new one
Yeah.
comes out. I don't really know. I've never been into Fantastic Four, so I don't know why this
Yeah.
has become a thing.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
I've never really cared for them at all.
I don't think I've watched any of them
It
before.
just happened, man.
Yeah.
Sit down and watch it.
What next, guys?
What next? Yeah.
Do you guys you ridden horses before?
I have
Ridden
quite a few
horses?
times. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nah.
Never
my
ridden a
grandpa
horse.
used to
Nah.
be an equestrian rider.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
Really?
so I've ridden a few horses in my time.
There was one of the John Neats, one of the maybe censor that my last name. I don't know. Whatever. One of the
talked about your
Wha-
like,
did we?
Yeah.
We didn't say last name though.
Yeah,
we can.
we didn't
we'll-
say.
Okay,
whatever.
Anyway, who gives a shit? One of them was a famous Adelaide horse trainer.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Whoa, and you
Yeah.
still never rode a horse.
Trainer.
Yeah, he was like one. But he was like a old.
Huh?
A good one. It was this is early 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he was a different. There's a whole storyline I recently found out like a week ago. That's crazy. A bunch of lore about family history.
Okay, maybe not say it on the podcast, but I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
if it's interesting and it's crazy,
Okay.
mate.
So, all right. So I come from a history of Johns, right? My dad's John, grandpa's John, great grandpa's John, etc.
He's the 11th.
Yeah,
Tune
always,
into episode 3. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I've always been told I was the 11th. So I did my own research recently, and yeah, it is about right. I'm the 11th, but that's 11th in a row. Turns out back in the day, because the John thing started in like the 1600s, maybe the 1500s. Back then, they would have like 3 sons, and they would name them all John. so
Just
it turns-
hedging their bets.
So it turns out I'm the 11th if you're doing it in a row, but I'm closer to maybe the 100th.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was 100.
Holy-
It's
so like
like-
if you go back to like John the First,
Yeah.
there was like 5 other Johns.
That were brothers.
that
and
was
they
the
all
just-
joke we made.
Yeah.
and they all had Johns of Johns.
Yes, yes.
There's
Or what would happen was there'd be a daughter that was just called like Anne, and Anne would have her own John as well for some reason. It's like, why? Let your brother John have the John.
There's a massive web of Johns.
Yeah.
You were the origination of the name John started
Yeah.
there, and everyone named John is
Yeah,
related.
they've spread
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, anyway.
That's crazy.
Then what happened was maybe like I'm the 11th, so I think it was about the 6th or the 7th was the first one in South Australia. Before that, it was all England. In England, there was just hundreds running around, and they were like, all right.
They're
One of-
everywhere. They can't get it. They can't get rid of them.
One of the John Neats was like, all right, I'm moving to South Australia to be the sole John Neat.
Yeah, yeah.
So he comes
I'm
here.
doing my own shit.
Yeah. he comes here and he's like, this is like the 1830s, like when South Australia was first.
Yeah.
This is research of my dad and grandpa don't know this. I did my own
Where do you
research,
do
digging
this
through
research?
internet, and I was reading old newspaper stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Locked in.
Yeah, I was locked in.
Journalist.
Yeah. Anyway, so the 6th went on to have the 7th John, and I was always told the 7th John didn't have his own Johns. He was, I think I mentioned it on episode 3
Yeah.
or whatever. The 7th John didn't have his own, but he had a brother, Fred, who had kids, and he was like, all right, my brother didn't have a John, so I'll have my own John to continue it.
Yeah.
Turns out that was wrong. And then that John the 7th did have his own John.
Are you the fake John line?
No, but let's get into
Sorry,
this.
sorry,
It's
sorry.
very interesting. So it turns out it was just a competition. So John the 7th did have his own John, but Fred had his own John as well. Right?
Imagine your cousin having the same name.
Yeah, so your cousin.
Your brother has a child, and you go, I'm gonna name mine the same
Then it's
shit.
just yours, yeah. And anyway, so John the 7th John is he's got his own Wikipedia page. He's the John horse trainer.
Yeah, right.
He also did cartoons in the newspaper. He was famous for that.
Crazy.
Anyway.
Awesome. He actually invented Garfield.
You know what is crazy? It's a slight little tangent, but
Yeah.
back in like the 1800s or like the early founding of like Australia and a lot of those other sort of countries where like
Yeah.
print media and a lot of stuff was happening, people just did so much more shit.
Yeah.
Like you could be a horse trainer and you're famous for newspaper, and he probably like does all this other shit.
He was in World War II.
There's
as well.
so much
Yeah.
stuff.
They weren't
That-
on their phones,
that-
man.
No, but
True.
like, it's not even. It's like there is just so much more opportunity to do and be the only one doing that thing.
Yeah.
Like if I started making newspaper cartoons, I would probably be competing with like millions of people
Yeah.
to send in my newspaper cartoons. But
yeah.
back when like whatever John the 7th was doing it, he
Yeah.
probably sent it in. There's like 3 others, and they
Yeah.
went,
Yeah.
you win."
Yeah, put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So there's 2 lines, right? There's in South Australia, Adelaide. There's now 2 lines of John Neat at that point. They split up, and then it goes kind of further down the John Neat line, and then the era my grandpa was born, he had John Neat on that side was also born.
Mm.
So it's like okay,
Well, there's 3 lines.
there's 1. So there's where it splits off,
Yeah.
where
There's
like
2.
it splits off with the real John and Fred.
Yeah.
I'm the Fred line,
You're the Fred line.
and then the John line is this other line.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It splits off, and then it stops because around the time my grandpa was born, Fred line, and another John was born in the
John line.
the real John
The
line.
John, the Fred John.
Yeah, the John line. That one. So they're the same age. I don't know if my grandpa knows this. I'm going to break the news to him. Maybe.
Yeah.
That one died in a car crash when he was 16.
Holy.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's how that John Neat line ends.
He probably
so,
it was an orchestrated hit from your John line.
Celebrating that.
so all I'm saying is
Wow, okay.
the reigning champ is still the one and only.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Nah, rest in peace to John Michael Neat, but
Yeah.
R.I.P. But yeah, he died in the car crash.
How long
so
ago was that?
Jesus.
That was the 70s,
Oh, okay.
so 50 years ago.
So your grandpa's cousin.
So my grandpa, I guess, had a second cousin or so. There was
Oh,
first
it'd be
cousin.
like a millionth cousin, no?
Nah,
Yeah.
it was only 2, so maybe second.
Yeah, but it gets exponentially further out the further you go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but it's not super. It's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
still kind of. It's like maybe second or third cousin.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
don't know if
wow,
my
wow.
grandpa knows this. Maybe we can call him on the podcast.
Do you want-
Do we? Not,
Don't call him.
Okay.
man.
Oh, that'd be so fun. Anyway, whatever.
we'll do a bonus, maybe. Nah, we'll see.
Are you guys probabilistics or determinists?
What's that?
Yeah.
Do you believe
am.
the future is predetermined, or do you think it's ever
Ooh.
changing, ever evolving?
I believe in the belief I've always had is that there's multiple like timelines, not timelines, but there's multiple directions you can go. I don't think there's a million.
You think
I
like
think
every
it's closer to like 12.
Okay. You have 12 big important decisions in
that's
your entire life.
crazy like
That's what I think.
deviation from the. It's like there's people that believe that
There's one and
every
only?
decision you make branches off into like millions of time. Like
Yep.
I've decided move my finger. There's a version of me that didn't move my finger.
Exactly.
Everything else is the same. Whatever. It branched off into like exponentially infinite timelines.
Yeah.
You think there's 12?
I think there's about 12.
Okay. What do you think are the
What-
12 most important decisions
What
of your life?
deviates the 12 timelines?
I think there's just like, I think there's like 12 main timelines, right? And you can do slight things like, whoa, I moved my arm, right? My other guy didn't move my arm at that point. But at the end of the day, there's 12 central timelines that if you try and deviate from, Like if you try and do a 13th, life will just naturally push you back onto the 12th line.
Okay, that's
That's what I
interesting.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like there's a bit of
Like if you go,
determinism
like,
in that.
If you
in
go
the
like,
idea
I'm going to
that,
run
yeah.
around naked or whatever,
Yeah.
your life's kind of like, all right, you're already on the path of the 12th one. The 12th wasn't going to do that. I'll let you do that for a night maybe.
Look, that was
But
a little
then-
weird, but we'll let it slide.
For us
But-
reinventing the TVA.
Exactly. I think it's literally that. I think it's like you kind of do stuff and then you get real anxious and you're like, man, I don't think I was supposed to do that.
Is that what anxiety is when you're
it's just,
branching off?
it's purely like,
That's great. That's a cool idea.
that's
I
why
like
you can
that.
make a big life change and feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
That's just you changing from like the
Is there a
ninth to the
a
7th.
correct? Is there like timeline 1 is like lawful good, and then it's like medium, then it gets slowly worse,
I
and
think
the
it's like
12th
that.
is like the most apprehensible version of you that is
Exactly.
still acceptable by
Yeah.
the universe.
Yeah, that was still like kind of destiny for some reason.
Yeah.
There's
So
like there's like different. I feel like there's destiny, but there's different. Like you can
Different
all of
endings.
us exactly. All of us could be destined to be a
they
horrible
only
person.
coded 12 endings. They got bored. They're like, 12, whatever.
There's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
You think
That's
it's
real, I like that
it's
a lot.
points based? Like you get
Like
to the
social credit system.
like at the end, they're like, "Oh, that was a good one, but
Good
you,
run.
you
Yeah.
did the naked thing. That was kind of you lost some points."
Yeah, what
Yeah.
would someone min-maxing their life?
Yeah.
That's like that dude that's trying to live forever.
yeah.
He's on his 13th timeline. They're trying to
They're-
get him
they're
back.
actively
Heart
trying to-
attack, stroke, kill him, kill him.
Or maybe that was like. Do you think there's different percentages? Like 6 of them are like 50% chance this happens, and then like there's the 10% at the top,
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like-
it's like a really. Yeah.
and he hit the 0.01 option.
Yeah, I think I do genuinely believe that though, because you ever like go out and do like you're like, all right, I need to change my life here.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm in a weird spot, and then
and
someone's
there's
like,
something in your brain is telling you this isn't correct.
yeah, it's like I'm in a weird spot here. This feels weird, and then but then someone calls you and they're like, hey, do you want to fucking I don't know, do you want to shoot a bow and arrow? And you go, okay, look, I need to change my life a bit. I wouldn't usually say yes to that, but yeah, let's go do that. And then
Alright,
you go,
fine.
and then you go there and you're doing it, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? I think that's the world telling you, move back on that line you're on.
Go back. It's like the
Don't pick up a
arrow-
bow again. Don't
Yeah.
pick up a bow again.
arrow
Yeah.
hit next to your head, and you go, "All right, that could have been a
I
different."
thought you were
path."
going to be like. I thought that was going in a route of like, I don't know, like optimistically of like, oh, you like feel really lost, and then you go shoot a bow and arrow, and you're like, wow, this is my life, and you
Yeah.
become an archer.
Nah,
in your
just the
world,
real-
it's like, nah, this fucked up.
Cringe,
This is
cringe.
this is cringe.
Wrong.
No, but I do believe in like there is things you can go out of your way to do and be like, oh, thank fuck I did this. Yeah, but that's you. That's you
You've
successfully
inched back,
changing
you've
lines.
changed
Okay.
lines.
But I think there's a lot of time where you go and do something. You're like, man, this sucks. I'm going back home and gonna go. Not
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
But you know,
I used to.
The universal agreement of what you
Yeah.
what you do when you go home when you're feeling shit.
There's only one thing you can do.
I can't say. Play that further.
I used to have like a strong belief that I already died,
mm,
and like my hypothesis was that every time you do something, you're like, "Whoa, I could have died there." You did die, but you're in. It's basically main character syndrome, I guess, where
Yeah.
it's like I'm dead in
Invincible.
everyone else's, but I've never died before, so
Or your
I'm-
consciousness is experiencing the version of life where you didn't die in
Yeah.
that moment, but you did, like a version of you died. You're saying, I
Yeah,
guess.
and I used to get crazy as like a child, thinking like, when I get to the like oldest person in the world, like
Oh, so you're never dying.
that's what I mean. It's
Oh,
like in
okay,
my
yeah.
brain as a child, I was like, I would have died by now.
That's cool.
I'm
Yeah.
not dead, therefore I must live forever.
yeah, okay.
So everyone else is like fake, and this is the life. So like, what happens when I get to the oldest person in the world and I tell everyone, hey, I know this isn't real? Like, what happens?
Sorry, massive truck.
Whoa.
That is, look, man, that's fucking crazy. That's like
What?
You
That's like-
can't say that's Mr. 12 timelines.
Yeah.
mine makes a lot of sense, man. That's like, you know,
You're not real, dude.
It's just-
you're
but
saying
like-
that you're not real. You're
Yeah.
a figment of my
simulation.
imagination.
Okay.
I have the thought process. The reason I brought this up is because I'm reading this book at the moment, which I'm really enjoying. I'd highly recommend. It's called
Yeah,
A
the
Brief
Bible.
History of Everything.
Okay.
And it goes over a lot of
Everyone
like,
wants.
it's kind of an old book, so a lot of it is outdated, but some of it's still really up to date. It's a lot of like geological information and astrophysics and stuff about how we were created, how the universe was created, like the beginnings of life, the like how we do fossil dating. There's a lot. It's like a lot of. It's a very thick book, and there's a lot of shit going on in it. But it's really interesting. And I read this interesting thing talking about the idea of life on Earth and how improbable it seems that there's life on Earth. Like the amount of like tiny things that have to go perfectly right for us to be here.
Yeah.
The fact that as humans we can only live on like a 4 or like a 10 kilometer like distance off the Earth. Like
Yeah.
if we go too high, we can't breathe. If we go too deep, we're crushed by compression. There's like not even is the Earth in a Goldilocks zone from the sun. We are in a Goldilocks zone on the Earth. Like there's so many things that had to go perfectly right for life to be alive.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that say, well, that just can't be possible. It's just too improbable that it leans towards the idea of a creator, which is a very valid point because we don't have an explanation for it.
Yeah.
So that is as valid as any other opinion.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of the argument, which is because the universe is equally as large as, like, it's just infinitely large. The
Yep.
universe is incomprehensibly big compared to the statistics that life is available on Earth. It's just, it had to happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
The amount of planets out there, amount of things that exist in the universe, it just had to happen here.
Yeah.
It just was going to happen
Yeah.
because of everything, because of the probability, because of how many opportunities that
Yeah.
probability had to strike. It was just
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
The reason that we are here to think about how impossible that is
It's
because
because
it
had
happened,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
weird way to say it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I know another book that answers that same question, and it's called The Bible. So read up on that, everyone. We're all gonna go read the Bible, and then next week we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. I do think there is a thing to like when I first heard about like manifestation, there's always celebrities talking about it, and I was like, shut up. You're an idiot.
Just because you're rich.
Yeah.
Thought about it a couple of times.
Yeah,
Shut
because
up.
things worked out for you, you fucking idiot. Now, but I do think there is maybe something to, I guess, just the idea of like putting something out there in the universe. Like, if there's something you want to do, don't leave it. There's something to like just like talking about it, or like going out of your way to put yourself closer to that thing. It would just work.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that is a lot of it subconscious.
Yeah.
That the element of like, especially with something that you tell other people,
Yeah.
instead of like, there's a difference between manifesting with yourself and then
Mm.
telling other people you're going to do something. If you
Yeah.
tell other people, it creates an accountability
Right.
that you're like
true.
now
Yeah.
you feel like you have to do it, so you're going to put more effort into doing it because you
Right.
told people you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas like manifestation within yourself kind of works the same way. You are like, you're telling yourself you're going to do it, so if you don't, you're more likely to feel let down. So your brain is more compelled to do that thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm less of a
more self-control.
yeah.
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 It's crazy, bro.
Crazy.
I have answers to questions, by the way. I mentioned this to John. So
With answers to questions.
I went to an engagement party over the weekend. It was great. Congratulations, you guys. You know who you are. But I was speaking to someone there who recently, I'm not going to say their name because I don't know if it's public knowledge, but they recently got accepted to both MIT and Caltech.
Oh,
And they
shit.
actually have to decide which one to pick.
Jeez.
Which is very congratulations.
Very congratulations.
Yeah. The point is, I
Very
was like,
good.
well, I'm going to ask you all of these science questions that we have from the past.
We got a scientist.
Yeah, we got a real scientist.
An
real,
MIT potential or Caltech
Wow.
potential
yeah,
graduate
one of them.
scientist.
Both maybe.
Both maybe, yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him. All right, so I asked him about the previous conundrum about farting in a room and whether exponentially the fart would get more and more stinkier.
Mm.
Do you remember this?
Yep.
Because you're inhaling the same fart, so hypothetically
Sadly, I remember
it would
this.
come back. Now, what he let me know is that there is a finite amount of starch in the entire world. And
Starch.
starch is what the smell is.
Whoa.
Starch or sodium?
Sulfur?
Sulfur. That's it. The one of the S ones.
Surely it's not
Sorry,
starch.
not starch. That's
It's like what
potatoes.
creepers drop when you kill them.
Starch is potatoes. Sulfur.
Sulfur.
Gunpowder.
Yeah.
So there's a finite amount of gunpowder.
Oh, geez, no. Go on.
Anyway, sulfur. Sorry. There's a finite amount of sulfur in the world. And so therefore in the room there's also a finite amount of sulfur. So it wouldn't get stinkier because you aren't inhaling more sulfur. It's the same amount of sulfur that was already in the room. So in order for it to work, you need to keep introducing more people to produce more sulfur in order to get it to work. Now, the problem he also pointed out is that eventually you would become acclimatized to it. So
You won't
while
smell
they
it.
may be getting more exponentially stinkier, you wouldn't even notice because
But
of your environment.
is the fart getting stinkier, or the environment that the fart is contained within getting stinkier?
Hypothetically, if you're introducing more sulfur, then the sulfur amount within the fart itself would get bigger, but the room.
But your body's not producing more sulfur, no?
No, you're only ever intaking and expelling this finite amount of sulfur.
So your
that's in
farts
that
aren't
room.
getting stinky. You're just hotboxing the room.
Yeah,
So you wouldn't think they would smell bad, but other people would be like, this reeks.
If you get a new person in the room, they'll go, "Holy shit!"
Really?
Yeah, you
That
gotta-
explains my
This
bedroom.
is the stinkiest room I've ever smelled.
Right. Yeah.
That does explain a lot of like teenage boy bedrooms.
yeah.
It's like when I was like 14, my room smelled fine.
To me, I was like, this is gangster.
To me, it's like this is just what it smells like.
Yeah, Mum's walks in, holy fuck.
Mum walks in, is like, opens the door, is like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
your pressure changed, eyes were.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the answer is you need to keep introducing people,
Crazy.
and you wouldn't even notice.
And they'd have to be queefing as well.
They'd have to be
Damn
yes,
it.
Is this
doing
the
some
end?
form of. Is this the end? It's almost the end, but I've got another one that I asked him,
Alright.
which is I asked him about the inhaling, like sniffing something in its entirety.
Oh, that one I'm actually curious about.
Mm.
Yes, because what was that? It was a ghost. Sorry. Talk about sniffing something in its entirety and whether that was possible. And he pointed out that, hypothetically speaking, it may take many years, but you would be like, you would sniff it all if you kept going. But we don't know. He said, I don't know, but there may be a finite amount of scent that comes off. So like
There's like a layer of a particle that is its scent, and then once that's all gone, it's no longer
Yeah.
emitting anything.
So when a steak smells nice, there's a point where the steak stops smelling because all of its expendituring smell is gone.
How the fuck does things smelling work?
Yeah.
Is it like is there a particle on that has like the boiling point, which is room temperature, so it's heating up and then turning into a gas, and then we're smelling it, or is it like just fucking pooping out shit? How does smell work? Get back to us, guys.
Get back to us. I mean, it's once again, it's like Half-Life, right? Like stuff is
1 or 2, or
yeah,
Alex.
Alex, yeah. It's disintegrating at a rate that is like untraceable, basically, to a human, like naked eye. But the particles that are coming out are you're sniffing them.
Hmm.
You think naked eye is funny?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
I was trying. I was like, I was gonna say maybe
picturing
the
an
eye
eye
should put some
naked.
clothes on, or
Yeah.
I was thinking trying to like something. I heard nothing after it.
Yeah, I got
I
lost.
heard naked eye, and then
Yeah.
my brain went
You
both
just
Yeah.
heard
Just
the word naked.
glazed eyes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Children.
Crazy, dude.
But yeah, that was the science hour. I asked him the Queen one as well, and he just said, "Isn't the Queen dead?" And I didn't go much further than that.
What was the Queen one? Oh,
Cupcaking, yeah.
farts. Still
Yeah.
fart related.
Yeah, if you could sniff the entire thing, which I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool, yeah.
cool.
So that's
You
my
can-
science bit.
Guys, look back at this. Okay, I'm someone that likes to keep up to date with tech, and
Mm.
I will forever update this podcast with the newest technology that comes out.
True.
When Smell-O-Vision comes out, come back to a couple more minutes in this episode, and I'm going to put in maybe the stinkiest fart I can put through
Yeah.
Smell-O-Vision to shoot out
Yeah.
in about a couple, in a minute or so.
Are you
And
telling us
won't wait.
you're actually gonna fart right now?
No. Just to the viewers. I'm going to put a Smell-O-Vision.
Okay.
Well, because I don't have the recording technology of Smell-O-Vision.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to edit in the recorded. Like, I'm going to. 57-year-old me is going to fart into a Smell-O-Vision microphone
Okay.
and then
Okay.
re-edit it onto this part of the podcast from 26 years ago.
Okay.
I was
That's
gonna
good.
say,
I
how
got-
many
I got-
years is that?
I get a bit worried because when you're talking about editing in a fart and that people could smell in the future, because like if that's the case, this podcast's gonna look real stinky.
Real
looking
stinky
back,
episode.
looking back. Been
I carry
farting the
sulfur
whole
around
time.
with me everywhere I go, just
True.
in case.
Yeah, my house is like the whole 14-year-old boy. You walk into my apartment, everyone's too polite to mention it, but
yeah,
whoo,
fucking
Yeah, that's what I
stinks.
was thinking. Yeah.
Like shit.
Do you think that
Kidding.
maybe if I stop pooing in a litter box, that
Yeah,
might help
oh,
with
yeah.
the smell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But
Do you
I
think-
like it.
I brought up horses before. Do you think that a saddle is considered a seat or a chair?
Well, okay, they're the exact same thing you've just described.
They're not the same.
What's the difference?
I think seat is the father word, and then it branches out. Seat is the original
God,
John
you're so heteronormative.
Seat is the father seat.
Father or mother?
Yeah. The
Parental seat.
fucking- the king. The king,
the GOAT.
the goat. LeBron James is LeBron James,
Yeah. The seats
And
LeBron
then-
James.
and then it splits up
Bronny
into the other
Jr..
guys. No, and then it seats the big one, and then
Okay.
it goes chair, saddle, couch. It splits up.
Okay, so you say chair, saddle,
Seat-
and couch are adjacent?
Yeah, seat is a way bigger and more important word
Yep.
than a chair or a saddle.
Okay. You don't think a saddle is a chair?
No,
You don't think it could be a chair?
no.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Do you have any input?
Sit.
That was a good horse impression.
Good
one, dude.
Saddle up.
No, I think chair and seat. Seat is a verb. Chair is a noun.
A verb.
Yeah, to seat.
You could
It's an action.
to seat.
Yeah, take a seat.
Yeah. But like,
I'm seated.
yeah. But like a seat, like I would say that's a seat, you know?
Yeah, but I'd say that's a walk. Like if I'm talking about someone who's gone on a long walk,
You
I'll
went
go like,
on
that's a walk.
That's a noun, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm using it as a noun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have nothing left.
No context. See, to me, a chair. What's he doing? Whoa, holy. Are you okay?
Was that tight or what? Was that tight, guys? Did that look tight to you?
What the fuck?
What just happened?
Why'd you do
I
that?
thought we were ending the episode. Was that the end of the
Huh?
episode?
I was going to keep going, but
Oh, sorry. All right, resume. Cut back to that.
subtle foreshadowing.
Was that tight?
Yeah, I feel like my
Oh,
eyes
sorry.
popped out
Oh,
a little
sorry.
bit.
I thought that was gonna. I thought you said that because you said you have nothing left.
That's just an honest statement.
Oh, okay.
I don't know because
Try
usually,
my
usually
hardest.
I keep track of how long we've been going for, right?
Yeah.
But we're almost at an hour. But
Oh,
I don't
fuck,
know
that's
how.
not-
I don't know how long Jock was recording beforehand.
Oh yeah, quite a while.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I
How
don't
long was
know.
that video you were watching?
5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I have no idea. We're at 58. So
Oh shit. Well, okay. Sorry. That was all. I thought I pictured like I'm done.
We
I
could
choke
cut
him
it
out, and
early.
then it cuts there.
we can cut it early. That could be the cut. Short episode.
This is
Yeah.
all in it.
This
It's
is all
just
in.
raw.
Okay.
We're just authentic. Like
I think you
that.
sit in.
What
a
are you
chair.
guys up to?
I think you sit in a chair and you sit in a saddle. So a
Right.
saddle could be considered a chair.
More of a bathtub.
Is a bathtub a chair? Or are you saying a saddle's a bathtub?
Yeah, because you're saying you sit in it.
Okay.
I think a saddle is both a chair and a seat
You think it's a chair as
synonymously.
well? Mm.
Because a
'Cause-
chair is just something you sit on. What is the define to
Sit
me
in.
a chair?
I think a chair is something that you sit in.
Do you not sit in a saddle?
Yes.
So then it is a
Yeah,
chair.
we're in the
Sit-
same
no, you sit
thing.
on a chair. I sit on a chair.
You sit on a seat. You sit in a chair. You know?
I'm sitting in this chair. I'm sitting on this
This chair is both a chair and a seat.
Yeah, I think that all chairs are seats, but not
I think
all seats are
anything you
chairs.
can sit on is defined as a seat. Something that is designed to be sat on is a chair.
Okay.
Right.
What
So
if-
if I see a low-lying wall, it's a seat.
It's not a chair.
It is not a chair. Something designed to be sat in is therefore a chair.
What if I'm at the beach and I dig a hole to sit in,
It's a seat.
but I've dug it with the desire to
Yeah,
sit
so
in
it's a
it?
chair. You've dug
It's
a
a
chair.
chair.
You've dug a chair.
Do you
Hmm.
think that, John?
I zoned out. I heard the word seat, and I was just thinking about like different types of seats, and then you guys talking.
What
about
is
seat.
wrong? Is something in the air this episode?
Sulfur.
Yeah, I've been farting this whole time.
Yeah. There's the smell of vision, yo. You smell it? Ooh.
No, it was meant to be a surprise.
Yeah.
No, I'll put it there, guys.
So,
Yeah.
Listen back when Smell-O-Vision gets released. I'll be right on it.
Yeah.
You think 2037? Is there an advantage to smell?
2037.
What
I
do you
said
think
when
would
I
be-
was 57.
What do you think?
I
would be
meant 30 years. I meant like 20,
Yeah,
30
yeah,
years.
the,
Yeah.
What do you think would be the stinkiest piece of media looking back?
I just don't think Smell-O-Vision is retrospective.
Why not?
Because you can't, like... I guess
Don't
maybe there would
smell.
be an effort to restore old videos to their accurate sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like there is like
Being li-
color restoration to black and white photos where people go
Yeah.
in Photoshop and like emulate what it would look like in color.
Yeah.
People going back and like they're a Foley
Like
artist.
a Foley artist.
They
That's
produce
what I
the
was thinking.
scent for movies and whatnot.
Right.
What would be the stinkiest movie?
Probably like a Jack Black School of Rock.
Wow, okay.
Every time he comes on screen, you just go, oh.
I was thinking like Snowpiercer, but School of Rock's a good
Okay.
answer.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
about like
Hey,
a
oh,
zombie movie?
Dude, that's
Rotting corpses.
Nah, man. School of Rock, it's a classroom of children and Jack Black. That room stanks, bruh.
Stinkiest, bro.
Oh, wow.
Why is there an advantage to smell? Like you talk about like smell-o-vision being invented. Why? Like, is there an advantage to it?
I don't know.
There's many
More
advantages.
What the hell does that mean?
That was the
Huh?
creepiest thing.
Well,
you've
I'm just
ever
saying.
said.
Willy Wonka is what you mean.
Yeah, Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
what?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That
Yeah,
would
you can
smell nice.
smell the nice
Oh,
smells.
the chocolate. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of like food and that.
Not Willy Wonka himself.
Oh, well.
Smell him.
Yeah, I don't think it'd smell too
I guess
nice.
cooking shows would be better because
John really did not think about smelling in food. I think let's just move on what he
John was
thought.
talking about smelling people.
Nah, people. Since when? All right. Moving forward. Anyway.
Yeah, but like, is there an advantage? Like, is there a obviously looking at stuff looks nice.
I think
Hearing
it's just
things moves you.
immersion. Like there'll be a point where we're so like VR will come and we'll be like in the worlds, and then there'll be touch, and then we'll be like we're so close to immersing ourselves in everything. What's next? How immersive
Smell.
can we get? How many senses can we cover through
think-
digital reproduction?
Yeah, I feel like that's what we're leading towards, right? Everything is just going towards how can we leave this world and live in an artificial. Like,
Yeah, we
isn't
want
that
to create a simulation.
I want to
And
sniff. I want to touch.
we might be in a simulation right now,
Already there, yeah.
Yeah.
but the probability of us being in a simulation is really low
Really?
because we would. If you're thinking about the probability, so I'm a fucking nerd this episode.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about the probability that we're in a simulation, that implies that there's either two options.
Yeah.
We are either the first people to ever come up with the simulation, or we are the most recent. There is no possible situation, if you think time is linear, that we are in the middle.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, why?
Because we haven't created a simulation yet. As soon as we create a simulation, we are then in the middle, because then our simulation can create a simulation that can create a simulation.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
But we haven't created a simulation yet. So either we're the
What if
first or the
Sims-
last, or like
Sims
the most
4?
recent.
Unless we're in a simulation where we're unable to create simulations.
Well, then it's the last.
Mm.
Unless they made two at once and there was a
Yeah.
branching
There's a few
thread
there's a few
timeline.
PCs.
Thread
A few
timeline.
PCs are on. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We're actually just mining like future Bitcoin
That's what we're here
or
for.
past Bitcoin.
That's
Is-
kind of crazy.
Yeah. What if like stuff we actually mine is just cryptocurrency?
Wow, like we are living
Like, we were
renditions of
physically- like,
cryptocurrency.
You think
people in the
rocks are
mines.
cryptocurrency?
Yeah, people in the mines are actually farming crypto for the simulation owners. That's
Is-
possible, man. Look into that.
Isn't it weird? I mentioned this to John like a while back. Like thinking about being in the simulation. When you have a memory of something,
Mm.
right? Like you can only be sure that this moment right now is the real one, and all your memories are things that happened.
Yeah.
But are they real? Like, because
Yeah.
I have memories of. I think I was telling John because I had a dream where he like helped me out.
Yeah.
I was stuck in a window and John like saved me.
Elevator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
elevator.
Help John, I'm stuck.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I
we
had
won't
that
get,
dream
we
as
won't
well.
get further into that dream. But yeah, like that memory is as real as the memory I have of like me and John driving home. You know,
Yeah,
like
it
so.
seems real.
Yeah.
This moment right now is the only real thing.
Yeah.
Is any of that real?
Well, there's a
Mm.
famous like philosopher that is like to think is to be real. And then you like boil that down to the only thing you can confirm is real is like you're saying is what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Because your brain can fabricate so much that the only thing that's reliable to be real is your thoughts.
Yeah.
That is
Crazy.
the only thing that's happening that you can rely that's real. Your vision is a formulation of chemical impulses in your mind. Everything you touch is formulations of nerve impulses. Like everything is a creation of your mind. Theoretically, you could be a mind in a jar, and there's
Yeah.
just the only thing you know for sure is real is your brain.
Damn.
Everything's real. This is real right now, and what we have is real.
So yeah, that's horrifying.
Unsubscribe.
I think that I like that nothing's real or everything's real, and I think you put it really nicely, Joe.
yeah.
I couldn't have put it better.
Yeah. A little scary, but.
Holy!
Whoa!
Holy!
The whole thing.
Oh my!
Oh my God.
He's
keep
going all the way. That's like soft. Oh, it's gross. Okay, I don't
Show
care.
the camera. Show
Yo, end the episode there, man. That's fucking gross, dude. That is disgusting. I
Yeah.
can't even believe he did.
That's so gross. You should get choked out for that.
Good bit. Good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, end the episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Follow, email us.
Dude, that's
Yeah, that was crazy. Why did you do that?
that's so funny that now it's worth it. It's so good.
We should just give that mic to the guests.
Yeah,
From
that's
now
the guest mic from now.